Thank you, everybody. Bye. Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome to the class.
The class.
Hi, Rafiza.
Hi, Rafiza.
Why do I hear
Why do I hear
echo?
echo?
Hmm. Hello, hello. Yeah, you're right. Need to mute everybody. Okay, all right. Well. So let's say who are the people? Rafiza, say hi. Anastasia, say hi. Mingye, say hi. Ida, say hi. Anja, say hi. Zhao Yue, say hi. Azmira, say hi. Nuruputri, say hi. Wang Yi, say hi. Carrie, say hi. Yanzi, say hi. Ziqiang, say hi. Xuechun, say hi. Hui Ge, say hi. Hong Yue, say hi. Wei Yi, say hi. Hi. Now we have 21 of 22 of you in the class. So think we probably need to just give a little bit of time, okay, to see whether anyone else is coming in. I think there'll be more and more people. I see 11 coming in as well. Okay, all right. I think let me double check on the attendance now. Before we began, so the thing is, as of last week, what after our class, what I did was I actually sent an email. To the timetabling department and also to the what do you call that, the ELA, that means the department who are in charge of your times. So I did raise up issues of students who are not able to see their times, etc. Now can I ask if everybody already have an access to your times as well as your timetable? Anybody still have anything pending with regards to that? Do anybody still have issues with that? If you do, please let me know. I have access to times, but there's only RP1 in my time. Ayaya. Adoy. Okay, so there's still issue for Rafiza and Ida. But they, Anastasia still doesn't have. Okay, all right. Okay. Anyone else still having issues beside the tree? Well, oh no, why so many of you are? I hate this. Oh no. I really don't like it. Okay, because I've already told them to resolve the issue, and then as of I think early this week, they told me that, oh, I think students should be able to view now. So I'm like, okay, good enough. Then apparently, so some of you are still not able to view. I don't have an issue, but are the weekly slides not uploaded or just me? Well, if you were to look at your times right now, what is being uploaded is only the lecture for today. So are you able to see today's lecture? Can you go in and see whether are you able to see today's lecture on strategic planning and decision making? Well. Let me list down the name. Okay, so we have, hold on, yeah. Let me write. So Ida still have the issue. Rafiza still have an issue. Dao Kenzi still have an issue. Nuru Putri still have an issue. It's weird that research project one appear for all of you. Okay, so let me see. Queenie's name is in here as well. Anyone else who still have issue? Okay, Zichen. Okay, Rafiza say Anastasia. Okay. All right, so let me put Anastasia name as well. So later, after the class, I'm gonna chase them again. Okay, so that means you got, somehow my class is not reflected in it, yeah? Okay, all right. I'll make sure that's being resolved. Okay, so now we have 24 of you. Not sure if more will be coming in, so maybe we will wait just for a little while more to see if there are more people. Hold on. Let me just see 982-815. I want to see how many students are officially registered to this class. Yeah. What's the issue? Just give it one moment. Take your cup of coffee, relax while we wait on. You see, I still see more and more people coming in. Something is not quite right. Hold on, let me access the system. Checking for all of you to see who are the people. Fountain engineer also needs some time for dealing with internet problem. Okay. Gary, hey, Dr. Kerr, just my husband will be going back to engineering anytime soon, right? Well, not that I heard of. Okay. Jing Han, no worries, you're not late. We are just still waiting, so not much of an issue there. Sit back, relax, get your cup of tea, coffee, whatever you need. Hope everybody is keeping safe at home. Everybody feeling all right? Okay. I have not been. Anastasia, you have quick question about the RP1. Yes, please. Fire away, my dear. What would you like to ask?
Okay. Hi, doctor. This is Anastasia. So about the meeting log that you share through the email. So can I ask like how the meeting log is processed? So let's say if we already have one meeting with our supervisor, so do we need to get the signature for each meeting, or is it only until the end of all?
Until the end. The logbook will be submitted at the end of the semester, but it's just that, of course, you need to update it on a weekly basis, right? So at the end of the semester, you just show your supervisor, this is the logbook that I prepared. And yeah, then you just ask your supervisor to sign at the end of it.
Okay, so the logbook is only for us to fill every week, and then by the end of all weeks, we only submit it at once to our supervisors for them to sign it.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. All right. Thank you, doctor.
You are welcome. Wait, so funny. My system show this class is supposed to have 24 students, only 25 students. Why we got 26 in the class? Okay, I'm not sure if some of you are still having a problem registering into the class. I hope not. Okay. Let me see. Let me see what are the names of the people who are in my class. Okay. Well, good luck for everybody who are doing your research project 1. Okay. I hope that all of you have made appointment to see your supervisor. Okay. I'm waiting for the list. Okay, let's see. Anja is in, Azmira, Wei Yu, Ming Ye, Feng Ting, Ge Hui, Ying Ya, and then Jiang Yu Chu, Zhao Jie, Li Wenjian, Liang Bianyi, Lin Yimeng, Lin Zichang, Liu Ruxing, Song Bo, Wang Jinhan, Wang Yuyu, there's another Wen Jie in here. Yang Xi, Xue Chun, and Ying Xue, Tong Xin, Zhao Yue, and Hong Ye. Anybody's name I did not mention? Oh, Yala, Lemon. So you are the one who is missing from the system in the registering, Your name is not in the attendance list. Yeah, wow, how come? What happened? But you register already, huh? So I'm like, why is there like an extra student in the class when it's supposed to be only 20? Supposed to have 20, 25 only within my system. No lah, 24 within my system. It seems like there's still people who are missing from the system. Who is missing? Who is missing? Anyone else names not mentioned? You are the extra, so sad. Don't be sad, Lemon. It's okay. Sometimes being an extra is good. Li Yiming. Let me. Sorry. I actually closed down the list already. Wait. Oh, okay, wait. Lin Yiming. Yes, Lin Yiming. Yes. There is Lin Yiming inside. Why, Is Lin Yiming in here? Lin Yiming. Somehow he's supposed to be in the other class. And what's he doing here? No, why is his name in my class? This is so confusing. Okay, never mind. We will tackle it as it comes. Okay. Ayo, Lemon, could it be your name is in the other class? Ayo. They need to relook into this again. Well, it's okay, everybody. You already teamed up. Okay. I'm not sure what is exactly is the issue, but never mind. We will take a look and see. Okay. So I think for now, the names that has issue is just Lemon and Yiming. Okay. Anyone else names I did not mention in here. Anyone's name? No, everybody okay? Okay, never mind. We'll take a look and see how it sorts out. Cider one, first few weeks is always very chaotic with all this registration, people dropping in, people coming in, people going out. Okay. All right, but in any case, okay, just in case for those of you who will not be able to access the slide, let me send to you the slide right now. Okay. Since you have no access to your times yet, right? So how do I do this? more breakout rooms, nah, pools, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, can't seem to send via here. Chat. Okay, anyways, never mind. Later on, I will send to those who does not have an access yet. Okay. So let's start our class without wasting time. Oh no, my coffee is finished. Okay. Pips, give me 1 minute while I bring in some water for myself. So please bring in some water for yourself as well. Okay. While we get started, we are getting started in 1 minute's time. Okay. Okay, I'm back, everybody. All right, time for us to get started. Let me share my screen. Oh. How's everybody week so far? Hope all of you have a good week. Anybody had a not so good week or a very good week? No lah, huh? Let's share positivity in the class. Anybody have a wonderful week? Something good happened? Share with everybody. What are some of the good things that happened to you this week? So at least we can all be happy for you as well. Anybody? No? Nobody sharing anything good? That's so sad, man. No, I'm really looking forward for all of you in the chat sharing something good. Wow, Rafiza said, okay, good week. Oh, so what constitute your good week? Tell me. Got free Starbucks voucher. That sounds good. A Starbucks is always needed in times like this. Okay. So have you redeemed your free Starbucks voucher already? Of course, yeah, very good, Patrick. Huh? You gave it to Anja? Wow, so nice of you. I turned 45. Ha ha ha, but I feel young. Whoa. Oh, it's your birthday, is it, Rafisa? Happy birthday from the class to you. So yes, so Anja says she got a free drink from Nuro. Thank you. Hey, it's so nice to know that all of you are still in touch with each other during this time of MCO and what's not. Good to know that. All right, now without wasting time, okay. Just want to share my screen. All right, so I think all of you are looking at my slides right now. Okay, now today, let me see. Somebody wrote something within the chat. Yeah. Well, happy birthday! Yes, happy birthday to Rafiza. Okay. Okay, so today is officially our first class, okay? Well, so to say lah, where we really start to get into things and talk about media management, okay? So today I'm going to really cover on the topic of strategic planning and decision making. So if I mentioned to all of you last time that my class, I try to make it a little bit more interactive so that none of you are bored, you know. So what we're going to do today is that we're going to be separated into breakout rooms. Okay, I'm happy to have so many of you in here because then it's easier for us to do the breakout rooms as well. Okay, so today we're going to talk about strategic planning and decision making, which is one of the very I would say important topic that we need to understand when we talk about media management. Now at the end of the day, remember this, when you're talking about media management, we are talking about managing a company, right? Which is like a media organization, and it's just like any other business. Okay, so therefore, what I think there are some basic stuff that I would just quickly go through. Will not bore all of you with the detail, but I think these are just some of the things that we need to address. Okay. Now, I think it's good that we start to look at a media organization as a business per se. Okay, so you have to look at media organization as a business running itself, because obviously every news outlet, advertising agencies, they all need money to survive, right? They all need money to pay their journalists, they all need money to pay their worker. So that is why media management is really about how you manage the company or manage the media organization, right? Now, if you're talking about you, if any of you were to become a manager, uh, obviously one of the first things that you need to understand and to do is to know how to plan. You know, the saying is always, if you don't, what? If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Wow, right? That's always the saying, right? Now, planning is the basic guidelines that guides organization meant to move towards the targeted organization. So when you are planning, obviously you're moving towards a certain target, right? So let's just say you're aiming to lose some weight, perhaps. Okay, so obviously there gotta be some plan for you to move towards the losing of weight, right? I've gained I've gained weight since the MCO has started. I've not started making plans to lose it yet at this moment, right? So I shall make plans for that, okay? But of course, one of the main things that you're talking about a manager, when you are doing, obviously you need to plan, right? And these are obviously, I think, some reminders that when you talk about planning, planning determines your direction. And obviously, when you are thinking about planning, you need to give clear information. I think a lot of people, when you are talking about managing a media organization, the problem is when informations are not clear, or when you do not identify what are some of the actions that needs to be done. And this, of course, any kind of planning, it is the best when you involve your organizational members. Okay. I'm just wondering, can all of you just give me a quick feedback with regards to the audio? Are you all hearing me just fine? Because I'm just wondering whether am I too loud, too soft, very clear? Is it? Am I too loud? Because I get excited when I talk. I'm sure all of you know that. Just nice. Okay, very good. Okay, good. Good to know that. Okay. All right. Yeah. So obviously planning requires all of these, right? Now, for all of you in here, I'm sure that all of you will be like, really, Dr. Ko, we're going to talk about mission, vision, and goal. Now, a quick pop quiz question. Who knows what is Taylor's University mission and goal? Anybody knows that? Try to guess, what is Taylor's University mission and goal? You're a student in Taylor's University, do you know? Their mission, vision. Rise with the best. Well, either rise with the best is the motto, okay? It's a tagline, yeah. Rise with the best is the tagline for Taylor's University, but it's not really the mission or the vision, okay? Now, very honestly speaking, I don't think most of us, right, we actually bother to understand, even if those of you who are working, how many of you really know the mission and vision of your company? Right? Obviously, whenever you think about mission, vision, you always sound something that's very like cliche, boring to all of us, right? It's like, mission, vision, and a goal, But if you are thinking about taking a managerial position, if you are thinking of that, one day you're going to manage a media organization, it's very important that you have your mission and your goal. So what is mission and the goal? Mission and the goal is always a very philosophical statement, right? Of what you want your company to be or what your company aspire to be, All right. So, for example, we are an information company. We provide news coverage according to our capability. Now, pop quiz here. For the first example, we are an information company and we provide news coverage according to our capability. Which one do you think sounds like a better statement? Is it 1 or 2? The second one. So Nurul Putri said the second one. Anastasia said the second one. Azmira says second one. Minya says second one. Gary says second one. Anja says second one. Who else? Second. Carrie also says second. Now, let me ask all of you, what do you think about the word according to our capability? If you put that in your mission, do you feel that there's anything wrong with this word according to our capability? Does it sound as though you're not confident? What do you all think of it? I have reservation with that. Yeah, kind of. Okay, kinda. Yeah, because you see, that's the thing about mission and vision and goals, right? At the end of the day, a mission should always be, yes, it is philosophical. That means you're making a big statement, but at the same time, it needs to be confident. It needs to be something that people will look at it and go, whoa, they're trying to achieve something. Now, Nurul Putri brought up Starbucks just now. If you have time, do go look through mission and vision of Starbucks. I think it's one of the most well-written kind of a mission vision for a company. Okay, right. Now, once, of course, when you talk about planning, you always have the mission and then you always have the goal, right? Mission is like a philosophical statement, like I said, a big word of what do you aim to be or what do you aim to do in the next 5 to 10 years, right? But the goals is actually the smaller ones. So in a company, you need to have a goal depending on what your stakeholders need. Now, of course, for many of you, if you're talking about media organization, your stakeholders are, for example, people like the readers, the viewer, your subscriber, right? Your journalists are your employees. They are also a part of it. Your advertisers, they are all part of your stakeholders. Who else? Your management team. So stakeholders means anyone who is impacted by your company. And of course, that includes the normal people, the community, especially if you're a media organization, because you have to understand that media organization, you do have a lot of impact on the community, right? And your goal should always be realistic, right? So if you want to be realistic, then of course you need to look at your organization's strength and weakness. Okay, and what is the more specific you can go for your goal, the more you are able to envision how you want your media organization to be. Now, of course, you have mission, you have the goal, and then you have the objective. Now, the objective then is about the specific output you want to expect. So from very general to very specific individual objective. Now, again, now you pause for a while, you were like, wow, sounds so boring, Dr. Koh. I talk about mission, I talk about goal, now I talk about objective. These are all such abstract words. Now, that is the thing. When you are working at a management level in a media company, media organization, you do need to have all of these things lined out because you will be the one that will be selling this to your staff and your consumer. You're telling them, okay, look, as a news outlet, these are our objectives, these are what we do, right? And this is what we are aiming to achieve. Now, if you are talking about what is your main objective, now as a media organization is always looking at the audiences, like I mentioned, your audience, your subscriber, your viewers, your product, which is the content that you produce, your advertiser, who are your competitors, the environment by which you operate in, what is the technology that you have, and then human resources, what are the resources that you have in terms of the expertise, and what are some of the raw materials that you need. Now, obviously, if you're talking about media organization these days, in the more social media kind of age, obviously now raw materials is easy to achieve, right? You can be a news outlet as long as you have a laptop or you have a good uh, platform to be able to produce news content. For those who are locally Malaysia, I give you a good example of a successful page, a Facebook page like Siakap Keli. Siakap Keli was just a Facebook page, but it's now being popularized as a news outlet of sort, right? So they are ready platforms right now. Raw material becoming easier. Whereas if you think about those days when it was traditional media, you need to have a factory to be able to produce the newspaper. You need to be in a studio or to be able to film something. But now everybody, we can use your iPhone. You can use your phone. In fact, now the trend has been to have iPhone filmmakers. People who are just producing film using just their iPhone. Or in fact, Huawei is also coming out with this idea. So the camera is becoming so good. It's such a tiny device that you can even do that. So raw materials are becoming cheaper these days for media organization, but the rest of the things remains the same. Audience, products, right? All of these things are still things that you need to think about if you were to manage a media organization. Now, of course, now if you are your manager and you want to formulate an objective for your team, okay, it should not be too long, should not be too short. As I mentioned, it must be achievable, and your objective statement must, of course, leads back to what was your goal, and then when are you planning to achieve your objective. It must be challenging but realistic. And at the end of the day, you are trying to make sure that it leads everybody in your team to personal and professional development, right? Now, when you are talking about objective, so now you have this thing that you would like to achieve. You want to have this expected output. Then you have to start having strategy, right? What is your strategy to achieve your objective? And it can be a big objective that involves global, community, regional, national, or it can be a very specific kind of strategy that involves a small groups of people, local people, or the community, right? After everything that you have planned, of course, you need to come up with the action plan. What are the steps that you need? What are the capital and resources needed for this particular project? What is your structure, organizational structure? What is your implementation scheduling? Who are the people that will be involved? Who will be the people who are taking charge of this thing? That is the action plan. Now, those are all we are talking about planning, right? Now, if let's say any of you in here, you are thinking today that, okay, I want to set up a social media platform of my own. I would like to create an app of my own, and I want to popularize it as a news outlet, for example. Now we are moving from just pure planning towards strategic planning, right? Again, you need to identify your goal. What exactly are you trying to achieve? From the managerial perspective, right? Okay, you may not be working alone. A lot of media organizations these days, even though you're talking about creating apps or you're talking about doing news outlet, one thing that is different from media organization compared to other form of business is the fact that media organization usually cannot operate alone. And again, of course, what is your idea of your social responsibility towards the community as a media organization? So once you have your goal, obviously you have your objective, right? What are your current strategy? Now, you need to do environmental analysis. Now, environmental analysis, if you are a manager, please bear all this in mind. Before you start a business of coming up with a media company, or if you're working at a managerial level, when you're talking about environmental analysis, you need to know what is going on in the environment before you start a business or you want to remain competitive in a business. That includes things like looking at what are some of the latest technology that is happening. What is the current social structure and cultural structure that's happening around you? What is the economic happening of the world? What is the current political status in the world? Who are the suppliers of your product? Who are the consumer? Who are your competitors? That is the environmental analysis. So if you want to come up with something and you have to do strategic planning, environmental analysis is very important. Okay, and of course, when you talk about the second kind of analysis is source analysis. Okay, you may have know whatever that's happening around you. Once you know what's happening around you, then you ask yourself, what do I have in my hand? Do I have enough physical manpower? Do I have enough capital? That means the money needed, the technology, and again, how well am I doing compared to my competitors? So you need to have all of these things, and this all falls under what we call strategic planning, right? Now, I'm sure all of you have heard of SWOT analysis, right? Strength, weakness, opportunity, and threat. So you have to see what are some of the opportunities that are available. What is the current gap right now in the media industry? What are some of the gap? What was happening in the past? And this gap could be in terms of management, could be in terms of the product, could be in terms of the services that is being provided. Okay, and I think a lot of the fight is really more focusing on the product. Okay, especially when you talk about media organization, everybody can produce content, everybody can produce good film right now, everybody can do corporate communication, everybody can do advertisement, right? Everybody can do a poster, everybody can do designing. What sets your product aside from other people? Okay, and of course, in whatever you are doing, you're trying to make sure you get the maximum output or the best output, right? And you try to gauge or measure whatever that is happening, and then you try to control, right? And of course, that includes threats. So, say for example, right now, COVID-19 wakes everybody up. Is your business or your media company COVID proof? I'm sure all of you have heard of news of how many of these traditional media giants, say for example, Blue Ink. Blue Ink in Malaysia was such a large magazine company last time. Okay, and it's very unfortunate, especially during the time of COVID. COVID has put the last nail onto the coffin because many traditional media already they are struggling to survive, right? So when they are struggling to survive, COVID is really like an extra thing that really tock 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 tock, put on the last nail onto the coffin, and so many business died, especially media organization during this time. Whereas actually, if you were to look at it, the social media side seems to be thriving. So did you take all of these kind of things into consideration? If things happen, what can you do? Those are strategic planning. Okay. Now, if you're thinking about strategy, then you may say, yeah, so okay, when I'm trying to come up with a strategy, what are some of the aspects I need to consider? One, you need to look at the time. Two, you need to look at the impact of your strategy. Three, the focus and the effort that is needed. Okay, so kind of like, okay, if my strategy is this year, my media organization is going to focus on this thing, then what are some of the other things that you can negate or you can let go for now? Okay, and what are some of the trends that is ongoing right now in terms of other people's decision making? And also the varieties. Okay, do you have many alternative and resources from every different departments? So if, let's say this, for example, if you have a journalist, do you have enough journalists to go about into different genre and aspect? If you are thinking about popularizing your advertising agency, do you have enough clients to go about? So you kind of need to look at the varieties that you have from every stages, and then you look at whether how does this impact your daily operation? Okay, I know I'm talking about a lot of things, but the idea is this. Okay, what I want to say is just that when you are managing a media organization, it's really not as simple as it looks, because there's a lot of consideration from how you want to push people to move forward. From the policy aspect, do you know your environment well? It's really a business game at the end of the day for media organization. Okay, and if you are good at strategic planning, obviously then you will know how to improve yourself as soon as possible. How your media organization is very responsive to whatever that's happening in the environment. You have very consistent guidelines for the people under you. You're very clear objective. You have managers who are very sensitive towards whatever that's going on and to minimize error. Okay, especially all of us, you are in media and communication field. So when you're in media and communication field, you realize that the field is and the industry is changing very, very fast. And it is very important that we are well versed and educated with whatever that's going on politically and economically, even if you don't like politics or if you don't like understanding what's happening economically. I used to not like all of this as well. But whatever that's happening globally does affect a business, especially when you come to a managerial position. So you need to be able to know, be responsive about the trend of the industry, and then how do you respond to that, and how do you change and adapt according to it. Okay. But of course, in all that I said, like I said, what I mentioned to you just now, source analysis, environmental analysis, blah 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 blah. Sometimes people who think too much, plan too much, it becomes very bureaucratic, right? But you have a lot of steps. And then in the market analysis itself and in the analysis time itself, you're using a lot of capital, a lot of time, a lot of human resources. And then you're so focused on coming up with the right strategy, the right objective, you become sidelining other things. Okay. And there's a lot of, I would say, sometimes when you plan too much, there will come to a time where you seem to be blocking yourself, where in your planning you seem to conflict yourself, and sometimes you don't have enough budgets to go along with it, and then sometimes it's really going with your gut feelings. If you look at big businesses in the world, sometimes you have to take risks to be able to know whether you will be successful or not. um, and if you think that you want to be too statistical based, you do market analysis and everything, and if you are only basing it upon that, sometimes that can be also an issue. So I'm not saying that strategic planning doesn't have disadvantage, because some people, without strategical planning, they actually run ahead, take the risk, do whatever they want to, and they actually end up successful because it does not curb their creativity. So of course the idea at the end of the day is about balance, right? Uh, but one of the more important things that you all have to understand is this. Next time, if you were to work with a media organization, right now with all the convergence, right? Because you're talking about, see, so many traditional media, they are moving towards the social media aspect as well. They're trying to promote their page. They're trying to turn online. News portals are now all online. People are trying to come up with podcasts and so on. Like I said, media, as a media organization, you cannot work alone. And usually when you are strategically planning and you have done your homework well and you research well, you will lead to strategic alliances. Okay. And you have to be able as a manager to multitask. Okay. um and of course, at the end of the day, whatever business you are in, corporate communication is still very important, which is why at the end of the day, you look at your master program, you realize it's really much focused on corporate com. Why? Whether you're a media organization, whether you are a advertising agency, you name it, right? All of these media organizations needs a corporate communication within them. So again, even a media company needs to know how to brand themselves and manage themselves, which is why we are doing this class. Now, I won't go through these processes with all of you because I think all of you would be quite familiar that at the end of the day, if you are thinking about doing a kind of a process in your company, of course, you need to set your goal, you need to be committed, do SWOT analysis, action plan, take action, then you have capacity building, you monitor and you evaluate. these are again part and parcel of planning, right? I'm sure all of you are familiar with that. That even in your daily life, these are some of the things that it's a cycle that you will be able to see even in your own life. You set a goal. If you do have the commitment, you know what are your strengths and your weaknesses. You take an action. You come up with an action plan. You take an action. Then you build your capacity as you take an action. Then you monitor or reflect. Am I doing well? And then the whole process repeats itself again. And as a company, that's the same process that you have to go through. Okay. Right. So now let me check the time. Okay, it's 6:45. I've been talking for like 45 minutes, right? Let me just go through. I'll go through MBO and etc. a little bit later. Now, because I don't want all of you to get too tied up, okay, too bored with listening. Now, let's look at this case study, okay? If let's say you were to come up with a media organization, look at objective 1 and objective 2, designed for the same company, okay? If let's say you were to create an objective for your media organization and you say, well, objective 1, to establish highly professional journalists. Objective 2, to establish highly professional and qualified journalists through a one-stop center approach. Which objective sounds better to you and why? Please put down into the comment which one do you think is a better one. Okay, Nurul, please hold on your thoughts there. What is the one-stop center approach, doctor? You asked a very good question. I will answer that in a little bit, okay? And how it leads to this. But just from reading it like that, which one do you think was a better objective? One. Okay, some choose 2. Gary, so why do you choose 1? Because I think Ida choose 2, Putri say 2, Yuchi say 2, Queenie say 2. Gary, why you WAYY? Oh, wait. Well. Okay, wait. I thought like, why the WAY? I asked you why and then you WAY me. Like, why? You tell me why, right? Okay, all right, good. So many of you voted for 2. But what is the reason why you vote for 2? Why do you think second one sounds better? You feel like there's more context to it, okay? Clearer, according to Ida. More specific. Zichang says more specific. The word qualified seems promising. Okay, all right, the word qualified seems promising. Objective to explain how the media organization wants to establish the highly professional and qualified journalists. Okay, very good. All right. Now, again, does many words means the objective is good? Obviously, we are not looking into that. But if you were to ask me, even I would think that the second objective is one-stop center. One-stop service is easier to win the trust of customer and reduce costs, and it's also the only way for the company to be able to operate. Well, Duncan, to a certain extent, that's what you say is true. Okay. Now, if you're a media company, obviously, this is from a perspective of a manager, right? Okay, so now you want to train your journalists. You want to make sure that your journalists are professionals. Of course, if let's say you have a boss on top of you and your boss say, okay, so what is the objective of your training? So if you go and you present to your boss, my objective is to establish highly professional journalists. Obviously, your boss will ask you the next question, which is, How? Right? Now, obviously, if you look at objective 2, to establish highly professional and qualified journalists through a one-stop center approach. Um, Even whether you know or you don't know the one-stop center approach, it, it actually makes people feel that, you know what you are doing, right? Carrie, you're right. One is very concise, right? That's why it's a matter of how you phrase it to show to your superior. But if you are looking at a specific objective with good output, there must be a way where in your objective, your strategy is being mentioned. Then it makes your objective not just a word, because again, to establish highly professional journalists, what exactly do you mean by that, right? Everybody will question you the same. If you're a manager and you were to present this, so think objective 2 to me does sounds a little bit more detailed, because it does gives you what is the expected strategy. Now, this is just one. Now, to address Nurul's question, so what is the one-stop center approach? Now, in the world of media organization, obviously the training of a journalist is very important, and there's been many companies that media organization that in order to train their journalists, right, they actually have the like a one-stop center. That means one place where the journalists all goes for training in every sense, from how to ask question, how to do interview, how to write, how to show the right picture, and it comes to boils down to even things like for advertising, for example, how do you create a good message for the crowd, and so on and so forth, right? So you have one place where the journalists are well trained, and like what Dalkan said is one of the ways that you'll be able to reduce the cost for your company when it's a one-stop training center. All right. Well, but this is again is just an example. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is, okay, we have 28 of you in the class right now, okay? 28 of you in the class. So what I'm going to do is I need all of you to start talking after this, okay? So what I'm going to do is from the 28, I'm going to divide all of you to, let's see, how many groups? 3, 6, 5. Okay, so what I'm going to divide all of you into 6 groups. Okay? From the 6th group, right? I want all of you to formulate an objective. 1, for a media organization. 2, for a PR company. 3, for an advertising company. Now, there's no name to this company. It's just telling you the business nature. You're either 1, a media organization, 2, you're a PR company, or 3, you're an advertising company. What I'm going to do is I'm going to separate all of you randomly into 6 breakout rooms. Okay, the first 2 breakout rooms will take media organization. Second, group 1 and 2 will take media organization. 3 and 4 breakout room will take PR companies. 5 and 6 will take advertising company. Now, I want all of you to discuss among yourself. So now is 6:53 according to my clock, right? So once I separate all of you into the breakout rooms, I need all of you to start talking within the breakout rooms. Now, you only need to formulate one objective. That's all. Phrase it in the best way possible. Okay? That's all, right? So, and then I want you all to have one representative to share with the class what is your objective. Feng Ting, is okay, all right? Is that clear? So you look, I will come into your breakout rooms and tell you what company you're doing. But just remember, I will just randomly assign what room 1 and 2 should be doing media organization. Room 3 and 4 will be doing PR company. Room 5 and 6 will be doing advertising company. Just design the best objective you can for this company. And then later on, because we have two groups doing the same thing, right? We will compare and see which objective is a better one. All right? So I hope that's clear. Now it's 6:53. Can I just give y'all, 10 minutes to do this? Warm up, right? 6:55, so you finish at 7:05. 7:05, I'll bring back everybody into the main room. Okay? All right, we're good. Remember, one representative, and the representative will either you can put it into a slide and then show me, or you can just say it out and tell me what is the group, what is your objective. Okay? Let's do that very quickly. We will be back in here by 7:05. Okay, please finish in 10 minutes, coming out one statement. All right, everybody, let's separate all of you into the breakout rooms. I'm going to just assign randomly, assign automatically, and see everybody in the breakout rooms. Okay. Please join the breakout rooms. Wei, please join the breakout room. Wei, are you there? Can you join the breakout room? Okay, good. Hello. So this group is group number 1. So you're supposed to formulate objective for media organization, okay?
Yes.
All right. See all of you. Please discuss among yourself.
Okay.
Okay. So formulate within among yourself, okay? Media organization, one
Okay.
objective.
Right.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
This is room number 2. So
Yeah.
which means you all will be formulating for a media organization, okay?
Yay. Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right. See you all in the main room with your objective. Okay.
Yeah, organization. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, organization.
Yellow. This is group number
Hello.
3. Okay.
Hello, doctor.
Hello. And you all are supposed to create an objective for a PR company, public relations company. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So do
PR company?
Yes, correct. So for a public relations company, okay. So for your group, please come out with a objective for a PR company. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
See
Hello?
all of you in a bit. Hello. This is group number 4, yeah. So all of you is supposed to formulate objective for a PR company, okay?
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, doctor.
Oh, I'm being muted. Okay. Anyway, welcome everybody in this group. Why nobody is talking in this group? So cute. Yuji, Carrie, Bianyi, Xue Chen, and Rusing, okay? You all are in group 5, so you are supposed to formulate an objective for advertising company. Okay? Are you all clear? No respond one. Are you okay? Ichi, are you there? Oh, okay, Bingy. Okay, good, good, good. All right. Okay, so do discuss among all of you. Okay, I'll see you all in the main room in 5 minutes time. Yeah. Hello, room number 6. You are supposed to be doing for an advertising company. Okay. Point, creative, it's good. Okay, I see corner writing already. Very good. All right. So remember, yeah, objective for advertising company. Come up with a good one. I'll see all of you in a couple of minutes. Okay. Yellow. Everybody is back to the main room. Okay. Waiting for everybody to get back to the main room. All breakout rooms will close in 20 over seconds. Okay, trust that, yeah. Okay, everybody is back. All right, welcome back to the main room. Okay, it's exactly 7:07 at this point. Okay, now I've been hearing a lot of sound. I think a lot of people's mics are on. Can all of you please mute your mic, please? Otherwise, there'll be a lot of random noises. Okay. Okay, good. Everybody is muted. All right. So welcome back. How's the progress of your wonderful objective that you have set for? Okay. All right. Can we start from group 1? Okay. So group 1 is supposed to come up with an objective for media organization. Can I have a representative from group 1 to say what is the objective that you have written? Group 1, where are you? Group 1, breakout room number 1, calling for breakout room number 1. Anastasia, Anja, Aida, Yangxi, Wang Yu's group.
Anastasia, I thought you're going to present it.
Who?
Okay, all right.
Oh, Anastasia.
Okay, so the objective that we come out with for the media organization, so we choose one of the journalists field. So the objective is to provide the citizen with the trusted information they need to make the best possible decisions in their community lives.
Can you put that into the chat, Anastasia? So that later we can do a comparison with the other group. It sounds good so far. Okay. But before I comment, can I have representative from group number 2 also doing a media organization? Queenie, Rafiza, Feng Ting, Ying Xue, and Jie Jiao's group.
Yeah, Dr. Ko, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
So our objective is to provide readers with up-to-date breaking news, compelling content, and insightful opinions.
Okay, sounds pretty good. All right, let's put it into the chat box. Okay. To provide readers with up-to-date breaking news, compelling content, and insightful opinion. This is from group 2. Okay. Queenie's one is from group 2. Anastasia have not posted yet. Yeah. Okay. There. Group 1. To provide citizens with the trusted information they need to make the best possible decision about their community life. Wow. Well, I must say, looks pretty good so far. Now, for the rest of you who are not in group 1 and 2, which one do you think sounds like a better objective? Please vote 1 or for 2. No hard feeling for both groups, okay? We get opinion from everybody and see which one do you all think is the best. Wow, so Gary thinks group 1 sounds better. Sorry, group 2. Gary, why you always confuse your 1 and 2? Okay. Group 1 is the one to provide citizens with the trusted and up-to-date information they need to make the best possible decision about your community life. That is group number 1, Anastasia's group. Group number 2 is the one from Queenie, which is to provide reader with up-to-date breaking news, compelling content, and insightful opinion. Okay. Wow. So Nurul Putri says she will go for group 2. Cora says she will go for group 2. Gary said go for group 1. Others? What about others? Anybody who are choosing? Gary changed again. Yeah, I know, right? Gary cannot make up his mind like that. Yeah. I think when Gary buy thing also, he always cannot make up his mind, man. Or when he deciding what he eat also, he cannot make up his mind, man, usually. Right, Gary? Right, Gary? Okay, so 1 and 2. Anyone else? Please vote. Please vote. Which one do you think is the better one from the rest of the class? So Anja says she votes for 1. Anyone else? Anyone else? So we have more vote for group number. Okay, well, it's pretty tight actually. Pretty good tie from everybody. Okay. What about the others? Were Yichu, Daukan, I don't know. From the rest of the I'm just reading random names. Yin Yang. Anja, you cannot vote for yourself. She did? Yeah, Anja cannot like that. Okay. But Rafiza, you also cannot basically cannot stop her from being confident with her own objectives, you see? She's just merely confident with her own group. What about others? I'm not seeing comments from the others. Are all the other students, can I know? Group 3. Why suddenly, Jinghai, why you write group 3? We're still doing for group 1 and 2, my dear. So Cornell said 2 cause trusted information. Okay, because of the word trusted information. Maybe can we explain why we choose this objective? Ha ha ha. Maybe can change their heart. Okay, Anastasia, I give you a chance to explain your objective.
All right. Okay, so we choose journalist field, right? So when it comes to journalists, we believe that trusted and up-to-date information is the first and most important thing that all the news reader needs, because trusted news is a very rare thing right now. Like every news is everywhere and we don't know which one is correct. So that's why we choose the objective
So
to become the most trusted and
up to date. Okay.
Yep.
To make
And then
the best possible decision about community life.
okay, yes, that's right. Because when we think about when we read something, when we read news in a certain platform, it influence our decision makings and it also influence our lives. So we need to give the best information for it. Maybe other of my group can add on if they want to.
You. Group 1 is like, hello, we got the best one, okay?
Yes.
No, then I should ask group 2. Anybody want to defend your objective or not? Group 2. Just the information is from group 1, protective mode. I pay more attention to the news around me, which makes me adjust my life better. That's what Yuji said. So Anja said our focus was on ethical journalism. Thank you, Anastasia, for being such a great representative. Hey, group 2. Nobody want to defend yourself, huh?
Me. Rafiza here.
Okay, yes.
Okay. Ours is about. Wait. Let me look at the wordings again. Ours is about news online news portal. So what our objective is to provide up to date breaking news. News has to be up to date. You see, so it has to be. You have to basically publish it before any other news agency publish it. That's what it means.
Mhm.
So compelling content is like articles about. I mean, we are very what do you call that? What's the word? We are very, we can say, picky when it comes to publishing articles. We don't simply publish any articles under the sky. So basically, it has to be very compelling. It has to basically
We give what people want,
yes,
kind of thing.
yes, and also insightful opinions is to engage with the readers for them to also share with us their opinions online based on the contents that we share.
Okay, all right. Now let's take a look at it. Honestly speaking, I think both group has done a great job in explaining it. So again, is the matter of what your company is focusing on. So I think it is very good that for example, group one, like what Anya was saying, she's very much focusing on ethical journalism, which they feel their media organization needs to position themselves to be one of a very ethical company. So they kind of say, okay, that's why their emphasis on their objective was the trusted information. They don't seek to be the first, but they seek to be the most ethical one with the most trusted information. Okay. Of course, they also emphasize on their social responsibility within their objective. And I think that one is very commendable. Okay, very commendable because your objective covers the social responsibilities of it towards your stakeholders and also what you are doing on your side. Okay, but if you are talking about group two's focus is very much, I think, more on the I would say the commercialization of news aspect, because you were talking about how every group needs to have the most up-to-date breaking news. And of course, compelling content and insightful opinions, right? Because what you are looking forward for is more of engagement. Now, one thing to bear in mind, if you were to compare these two, this is just how I feel about it. If I were to read Group 2.1, to provide readers with up-to-date breaking news, compelling content, and insightful opinion, I will not see it as an issue, right? It sounds like a very good objective to be able to compare it with the, but the moment you put it side by side to compare with Group 1, then it does gives you the impression that Group 2 sounds a bit like you're seeking to go viral, because it's talk about updated breaking news, and then the content must be compelling, that means attractive. So again, the question of what you are doing for your community, when you talk about engagement, is it positive engagement? Is it going to be like you just for the sake of getting an up-to-date breaking news? But is it the most trusted kind of news? It's a different story, right? So if you were to look at it, like I said, on its own, it looks fine. But if you were to compare to Group 1, then you'll be able to see the differences of the emphasis. So why am I doing this exercise? Is because I want to let all of you see the fact that when you come up with a good objective, you need to see the difference of it when it is being compared to another different group, and how it can change people's perception. And you have to understand, as a media organization, you're talking about audiences. And audiences change their perception about you all the time, based on what they also know about other media outlets. So I hope this gives you all an insight on how to create better objective for the company. All right. Now let's move on to the second group, which are doing on PR company. I think earlier I do notice that Jing Han posted, but Jing Han, can you post again your objective? Thank you very much for Group 1 and Group 2. It's very good attempt from both of the group. Okay. So Jing Han is from Group 3. You can type it down. And is there anyone who from Group 3 who would like to explain your objective? Okay, so everybody, let's look at the chat, yeah? So this is for the PR company. If you are coming from perspective of a PR company, so Jinghan say to hide the original crisis violation, expand the guidance and publicity of favorable information, and minimize the bad side to the public view. Okay. Anybody from group 3 who would like to explain your objective? And also group 4, please also place your objective in the chat box. Building awareness and favorable image for company, also in charge of monitoring the changing trend of social environment and public opinion. Supervise and assist the decision maker to adjust the company action and solving crises in time. Okay, all right. Sounds right. Now, hold on, yeah. Okay, all right. So from these 3 and 4, the rest of you, please vote. Which one do you think is a better one? Group 3 or group 4? Minye say 4, Ida say 4, Azmira say 4. Anybody else? Gabby say 4. 4. Wow, overwhelming. Can't decide, both great. Anja say 4. Puchi is also like Gary, like that, very undecided one. But okay lah, this time Gary was very fast to reply. But Gary, you don't suddenly say, no, number 3, yeah? No changing, right? Okay. So Corner say 4, Rafisa say 4, Anja say 4. Okay, anyone who is voting for 3. Group 3, anybody who would like to say anything to justify yourself and why people should vote for objective 3? Group 3, only me? OMG. I'm from group 3, by the way. There wasn't any communication going on due to language barrier. Oh no, poor thing, Mingye. Okay, all right. Now group 3, okay, for people who are within group 3, all right. I think that's the thing about online classes. It's difficult, more difficult for you to communicate. But seriously, I hope that within my class, okay, because I would love to do, they can say resolve the customer PR problem, trust crisis, political propaganda. Okay, all right. Okay, so Dow can explain that. Okay, but it's okay, Mingye. Thanks for being upfront about it. Okay, but everybody, please note that even if you have language barrier within this class, I really hope that all of you will speak up. Okay, don't just stay silent and muted in the group. Okay. I do want everybody to start talking in this class, okay? This is a class of communication. You can't go on a class of communication without talking.
Yeah, I get you. It's just that I tried.
Good try, Mingye. It's okay. No worries. Now, for the rest of you who are in group 3, okay? Really hope all of you will be more active in participating within the discussion, all right? Although, of course, I can't force any of you, right? Just as how Mingye couldn't force any of you. But in any case, okay, let's look at the tool, right? Since everybody voted for 4, group 4 said they want to build awareness and a favorable image for company, also in charge of monitoring the changing trend of social environment and public opinion. I think this is a very, very good objective. Reason being because if you were to compare to group 3 says to hide the crisis violation, expand guidance and publicity of favorable information, and minimize the bad side of public view. Now, if you were to look at all of these things, right, the objective sounds very focusing on the negative aspect. You see, this is where you have to understand, if you're a PR company, right, focusing on negativity within your objective. Now, in the first place, PR agency is always not trusted. that if you're a PR company, there's one perception you have to deal with. Everybody think PR agency is very manipulative. They try to cover up for companies. They try to sugarcoat when a company have crisis. But it is not about that, you see. So your objective as a PR agency must address this kind of a thing, but without it sounding like you are manipulating, because I think from it, it's like you are talking about hiding crisis violation, which again doesn't sound very good for an objective, because you're trying to hide something on behalf of your client. That's not good, right? And I think that's where group 4 is doing very well, in the sense of they started with talking about building awareness and a favorable image. You start on a positive note for that, okay? So it's very important for objective to start on positive notes about your company rather than the negativity ones. Although, of course, group 3 attempted to explain what does a PR agency do, okay? So even with the lack of communication, at least there was some effort being put there, right? But I expect better effort from this point onwards, okay? From those of you, especially who are within group 3, okay? All right, very good. Let's move on to advertising agency, group 5 and 6. During the discussion time, everyone was involved. Yeah, it's okay lah, my dear. Let's try to communicate better, all right? Next time. Rusing said the goal of advertising companies is to expand brand influence, increase product awareness and visibility, and disseminate information to the public. Okay, drum roll for group 6.
Can I say it out?
Oh, Gary, your group. Okay, please
Yes.
do.
So basically the objective will be bridging clients to a branding success through creativity and integrated marketing communication in an idealistic time frame.
For you, all the big words. Okay, good. Can you please type it out, Gary? Now, Gary, any justification why you put it out like that?
Actually, the reason why I put creativity is because, like, most of the time you look at advertising, we always liaising with clients most of the time. So, and client wants to know whether, like, because there's so many agencies, how do we prove ourselves? So in the end, we actually put out creativity as the most important thing. At the same time, we say about, integrated marketing is because, like, we can use several different stages of marketing communication to improve their branding. For example, like, events, live stream, etc., all those kind of.
Yep, okay, very good. Gary, you working for advertising company?
No, I actually work as a branding strategist. So for a financial company. So yeah.
No wonder. Okay, good. All right. Thank you very much, Gary. That's group 6. Group 5, any representative would like to defend your objective? So funny lah, all your chat. Okay. All right. Group 5. Nobody. Nobody want to say anything. Group 5. Because everybody is talking about going for group 6 already. Gary has a nice voice but poor decision. Okay. Group 5. Anybody from group 5? Okay. No. All right. Okay. Well. Let's take a look at everybody's opinion. 5 and 6, okay? Anybody, group 5, let me repeat. Group 5 says the goal of the advertising company is to expand a brand influence, increase product awareness and visibility, and then disseminate information to the public, right? Whereas for Gary said bridging clients to a branding success through creativity and integrated marketing communication in an idealistic time frame. Okay. I know, right? Very hard to eat with me, man. See, I knew it. Yeah, Gary sure cannot decide when his friend asks where to get dinner. That's why. Yes, Putri, we will vote for you, okay? Anyway, back to the class, okay? Let me, nobody really vote for it, okay? Any other opinion? 5 or 6 is better. Anybody want to vote for group number 5? Anastasia choose both. Okay, all right. Anybody else? Anybody else? Peng Ting says 6. Anastasia said they use a good word to describe the objective. I'll go with 6, but 5 is also good. Okay, all right. Duncan said he goes for 5. That's very interesting. Okay, all right. Actually, I must admit, like what everybody say, I like the word expand brand influence for group 5. Actually, if you were to look at group 5 and 6, right? Let me say this, okay? Now, group 5, the way how group 5 phrase it is very direct. And I think what is very good about group 5 is that you actually encompass it, every aspect, which is number 1. You talk about the brand influence, the branding itself. You talk about the product, and then you talk about the target people, which is the public. So in a very concise manner, you have actually covered these 3 aspects, which is good. But why you will see that everybody will go for group 6 rather than group 5, right? It's very simple. The art of the writing. Okay, group 5 message is very clear, but in terms of the art of writing it to make it attractive, that's where the packaging is a little lacking, right? Okay, whereas for group 6, because the moment you see it, it appears to be bridging clients to a branding success. So immediately he covers the client part from the very first sentence itself to branding success. And of course, through creativity and integrated marketing comm, which is the effort or they focus on what they are doing. So, and the thing about group 6 is that it actually has the mention of time or the expected output. So both groups have done very well, but I think group 5, we need to attract as many people as possible, as little time as possible. You're right. Okay. Okay, so there were mandarins going on. Okay. It's all right. It's all right. Okay. I think we are all learning how to communicate with each other. Okay. So I believe there are some language barrier within this class with some of you, but it's okay. We can all learn how to communicate better as a class, especially the online environment. It does comes off a little bit more challenging, huh? So hang in there, everybody. Okay. Okay, luckily we have branding strategies in our group. Okay, all right. Well, so again, overall, I think the advertising group has done very well. Okay. In coming up with good strategies. Okay. So that is just a very simple walao. Okay. Sorry. I mean, I just look at the timing and I realized that we actually do this exercise only when it's 7:30. I wasn't expecting to take this long, okay? But good exercise overall, okay? Even just for a short one, for everybody just come up with a statement. And you will realize that it is so challenging to even come up with a proper statement, right? Okay? So if ever in future, believe me, if you do work at a managerial position, you will realize that all this thinking, especially the word creativity, okay, will have to come in place on how you want to package your objective. To make it sound good, you see, you may say, but objective is for people who are inside your company. Who cares? But you see, a well-written objective is able to pull the people within your company together. Okay? So you have to understand that a good clear objective helps to pull your employees together because at least everybody is clear what is the company aiming for. An unsuccessful objective is when nobody knows what the company wants. Too many abstract words that doesn't describe what the company do. Some companies you realize they came up with, wow, amazing wordings. But if you were to ask their staff, nobody really get them. Okay. I think remember earlier I mentioned about Starbucks. I recall Starbucks, because Starbucks is always famous for their Corporate Social Responsibility Act. And so one of the slogans that I heard was from Starbucks was that we are changing the world, something about one neighborhood at a time, one cup of coffee at a time. And I thought that was very catchy. You see, until now, I can still remember roughly the content. It may not be phrased exactly like that, but it sounded something like that, which makes me feel like very impactful. One coffee at a time, they change the world. Okay, so those are the things that you need to think about, right, in coming up with a proper objective. Okay, right. And any question or any comments so far? Anybody would like to say anything? If not, allow me to continue sharing my screen. Okay, right now. Let's move on to the next part of our what do you call it, of our class. Okay, now again, I do have this slide posted within your time, so you can take a look at it when you are free to, you know, really process all of this. You see, I don't want to bombard all of you with information, but in the slides, I put in all of it so that you get an idea when you want to revise for it, okay? But I just want to touch and go so that you are aware of the concept, and then you will know and think about how you can apply this within your own context, okay? Now, when you talk about media management, or in fact managing anything, one of a very popular concept that is used, right, is MBO, management by objective. And this is a concept that has been around since 1950s to talk about how best you can manage, all right? Now, what are some of the emphasis or the characteristic of this term management by objective? It is one, it's about output of system. At the end of the day, management by objective is all about what is the ultimate output you want to produce. Emerge from corporate planning. So this is management by objective is a business idea. So if any one of you who came from business background, you realize that this is a term that is very much business-like, right? You talk about managing, producing output so that you get more profit. So the idea of MBO came from a business background. And at the end of the day, when you are managing by objective, it improves performances. Okay. I will not go through the objective, but what I want all of you to really know and understand is that at the end of the day, MBO is a philosophy. Okay. So what it does have is just about, okay, you identify what you need, you identify what is the output you want, and then what is your step, what is the relevant program that you can develop to achieve that in the most optimal way. That is definition of the philosophy. Okay. Now, I do have a little bit of a history. A couple of scholars that or research that has been done on how, if you were to implement this philosophy of management by objective into companies, it actually helped to increase performances. Okay, so Peter Drucker, which is the original person who came out with MBO, Douglas McGregor, okay, is also another famous scholar with regards to this. Okay. So they do research on this, on how this philosophy of MBO can actually increase the performances of the staff. Why? Because they know what is their ultimate objective. So you can look through them, okay, and you can do a research on these people and also to look at the research that they have done. All right. Now, at the end of the day, what are some of the things that came out from this philosophy of MBO? If you were to be working in a corporate company, I'm sure all of you are familiar with performance appraisal. All right. This is the time that everybody hates because your boss will sit down with you and then start to tell you, this year you are doing very lousily. This year you did a great job. I think you are very good in this, or I think you are lacking in this. The idea of performance appraisal came from management by objective. Why? Because you set your key performance index, right? Your boss will sit down with you during appraisal and say, next year, I expect you to do this. That is the setting of objective. Your boss is setting an objective for you. So that is where this philosophy is actually being implemented. And of course, we talked about strategic planning earlier. We talk about how, of course, in every company, everybody have their own portfolio. Because why? Everybody has a different objective that will lead to the bigger objective or goal at the end of the day, right? So MBO actually have all of this. And of course, budget program means how did MBO apply to how the company put their money and where to go. Now again, today's class may sound very business-like, because at the end of the day, I started this class by telling all of you, you need to look at a media organization from a perspective of business. And a media organization is just like any other business where you need all of these things in order to run well. Okay? So the process of MBO is always understanding what is your main purpose of your organization. Remember earlier, I talked about monitoring environment, looking at your own strength and weakness, opportunities and threat. And then you actually predict what will happen in the future. Then you have your objective and then your strategy. So I think these are all encompassing what we talked about earlier. And these are all coming from management by objective philosophy. All right. Of course, from time to time, there will always be a re-evaluation. Right, that's why appraisal is done on a yearly basis, because people need to like constantly be set back on track. What are we looking for? What do we need? And sometimes objectives change along the way with whatever that happens in the environment. So we have to relook at your objectives sometimes. Okay. So as I mentioned, the application of this philosophy does create a better company in terms of advantages, because the management is clear what is their objective. The focus and the commitment of the people to achieve the objective is there, because everybody knows what is the main goal, right? But of course, if let's say you don't understand the management by objective, you have no guideline, and then you have no goal, and then you are on a reactive basis. You're not being flexible, you're difficult to change, and you're not being sensitive. Now, this sounds at the end of the day very, why would any company do that? I always bring out this question to students. Traditional print media, newspaper, right? Obviously, there's not many people today who still reads newspaper, the traditional paper already. And then you see all these paper, traditional newspaper that are trying their best to shift online, right? To try to remain relevant to the society. But you will notice that many of them could not survive the transition. And therefore, many of these traditional print media, they collapse. Because I always ask the questions to students. I say, obviously, if you and I can think about it, why is it that the owner of all these print media don't think about it and they're still unable to survive? You see, the ability to adapt. And when traditional print media, they are constantly trying to, in the initial stage, protect themselves by saying that I don't need to shift to the, to the new media because I'm doing fine. I still have my loyal readers and so on. And it was for many years that traditional media stays there while all the new media outlets are coming out. Now, by the time they decided that, we need to transit, it was a little too late. So you see, their objective was very short-term. Their objective was not consistent. And their objective was very rigid. They don't plan to change themselves. So these are the kind of things that would drag down a media organization. So at the end of the day, as a media organization, your objective is very, very important. And of course, sometimes if your objective is not clear, nobody is involved in the discussion. If your managers themselves do not understand your objective, if you do not constantly evaluate if everybody is moving into the right direction, obviously your objective would not be achieved and your MBO philosophies will fail. Okay, I think this is very easy to understand and simple. So that is MBO. Again, if you would like to relook into this particular MBO, then yes, you can. Well, can a company change their mission and objective when needed? Of course, Anastasia. You see, that is the difficult balance, you see. That's why the initial stage of coming out with a mission and objective is so important. Because when you are setting out your mission and objective, yes, over time it can change. But imagine if you keep changing. Sometimes changes needs to be done because the time has changed, the environment has changed. So then it depends on the company's ability to foresee the future. Remember earlier we talked about strategic planning. It's about foreseeing the future. So if you are able to foresee, if you have done enough work to try to predict what will happen in the industry in the upcoming long-term time, then you can come up with a very good mission and objective that will be time-proof. And then when you remain consistent in that, in long term, you will see the fruit. But if you are constantly changing your objective, you see, it's very difficult for your customer or stakeholder to trust in you because you are constantly changing your mission and objective. It's like a person who doesn't know what he or she wants to do. 1 minute tell you want to do like this, another minute tell you want to do like that. You'll find it difficult to trust such person. So consistency is important, and the lesser you change your mission and objective, the better. So the initial stage of creating a timeless mission and objective is very important. Okay, now so that is MBO, a very old concept. Now we do have another concept called the Blue Ocean Strategy or the BOSS strategy. Okay. Now, BOSS strategy is very much focusing on the buyer side. Buyer side means your reader, your viewer. So, the BOSS strategy tells you this: you want to increase your value, right? You want to sell your news for a more expensive price, right? You want to be the best PR agency that charge your client high price, right? Then you have to look at your buyer perspective. From your buyer perspective, what is valuable? And then you increase that value of the thing they want. So that is BOSS strategy. And you increase the value of the thing that they want, and then you save your cost. I mean, of course, this is a basic understanding of economy, right? The more demand there is, the higher the value of the thing is. So in the same thing, as a media company, how do you package yourself so that your buyer think you are worth that much of a price? I mean, come on, we talk about news. How do you even get people to subscribe to an online news portal? That's a tough challenge because there's free news everywhere. That's why media organizations are struggling to survive. And that's why good strategies will have to come into place if you will want to be one of the best or the top media organization. All right. So BOSS strategy, as I mentioned, okay, it's about creating value. So what can you reduce? What can you eliminate? And what can you raise? All right. The few keywords of BOSS strategy. Okay. Now, how do you visualize strategy when it comes to this blue ocean strategy? They will actually do a few things. Visual awakening, where they compare their business with your competitors to see where they need to change. They actually explore what are some of the alternative products, what are some of the things that they can do away with, what are some of the things they need to change. And then they actually come up with strategy fair. That means they try to implement something and see whether they can get feedback or not. Okay? And then they try to communicate the changes. Once the changes is done, okay, is it good changes, bad changes? How can you do the changes and get the feedback? And again, the whole process repeats itself. So BOSS is very much on what can you kick out and what can you add on to add value. BOSS strategy is all about value. Okay. So yeah, okay, now we have done this one. Okay, we have done the discussion earlier. Now, the last part of this class, I just want, okay, I bring up BOSS for you all, I bring up MBO for all of you. I will very quickly go by this, okay? Now, if as a media company, you have an increasing need to understand your customer. That's why when you were creating your objective, I tell you all of you, I'm very happy with those who actually put from the perspective of the customer, right? Because why? At the end of the day, you need to know what your customer want. Then you can tailor your news, your entertainment, your advertising to match whatever that they are interested in. So, and that requires a lot of gathering of information, trying to pitch it to them, trying to develop what your campaign is, okay? And then trying to get who are your outside supplier, and who are the media by which you can promote yourself. So you see, even media organization needs to promote themselves, right? Through another media, for example. Market analysis is very important, where you actually look at what your customer needs, and then you do whatever media product that meets them. That's why earlier when we mentioned about your objective, and you all are saying that up-to-date news is very important. In a society nowadays, customers are looking for reliable, truthful news. So it's very good that all of you are already thinking from the perspective of the customer, but what else are the things that they need? You see, when you understand your target market, then it gives you a better advantage as a media company. Then you'll be able to see what are some of the opportunity, and then you fine tune what you have. You see, like I said, there's so many media outlets out there. There's so many advertising agency out there. There's so many PR agency out there. What makes you stand out? You need to know what are your key selling points. Okay. And of course, understanding who are your target market. Is the size of your target market big enough? Are they active? Do you know how to measure them? What are you concentrating on? What are the different groups available? What are the similar target group that you can aim for? These are things you have to do within the market analysis, right? And yes, of course, as I mentioned, you need to understand your audience, whether from where they stay, what their age is, their sex, their income, their education, what's their lifestyle. That's why right now everybody, there's so many data companies out there. They're trying to sell you database of consumer to tell you that, well, hey, look, you want to advertise on this day, this is the group of people you should aim for because their lifestyle suits this thing. That's why big data is such a disgusting nowadays. Everybody is discussing about my discussing sounds like disgusting. Okay. Anyway, all right. But yes, so at the end of the day, that's why our data of customer is so important. And that's why it becomes such a commodity to sell, the knowledge about people. And I tell you, that's where media and communication people are so important, because you understand crowds. You understand people's behavior, communication behavior. Understanding all of these are your asset. Okay. Right? Okay. Now, of course, at the end of the day, you need to segmentize your effort. Okay. Look at whether do you want to aim for a specific place, specific groups of people, and what is their usage pattern of media. That's why, when you are doing advertisement, you need to know, for example, if you want to post on social media, what is a good timing to post? 8 a.m., 10 a.m., 12 p.m.? What is the peak time for you to post? There's no one magical formula, but there's always a good peak time for your targeted consumer. So you need to know all of that. It used to be applicable even in the traditional media, where if you watch TV, right, over the weekend, Saturday morning is always children's cartoon time. Why? Because weekend, children are not studying, so they are most of the time they are home, they are watching, and that's the time when knowing that they are watching cartoon, most of the advertisement will be about kids product. So you see, you need to know the usage patterns. Then you can actually aim for the right thing for your media organization. Okay. And of course, all of these, I think again, I'm listing down all the benefits, but I will sum it up as segmentation and knowing your consumer at the end of the day will be able to help you to aim directly at them when you have a new product. When you have a news outgoing, who are the people? When you have a PR media kit, who do you go for? When you're trying to promote your company, we want people to be aware of your client as an advertising company. Who are your client aiming for? How do you help your client to build their brand, to in people's eye and how people perceive them? These are all coming from understanding your audience well. Okay. So at the end of the day, all media, you have to remember that as a media company or organization, your message is your product. Okay. Your message or your content is the product. Now, your staff is responsible for helping you to promote, to produce, and how to distribute this product called news content. This product called brand awareness. This product calls brand attributes. Okay? So take it as that. So I do have some steps on manufacturing and selling media products. I think probably don't really need to go through this, but like I said, it's about packaging your content as a product. Remember that. Information is your product. Okay. And right now, of course, when you talk about online news portal, they are one of the largest advertising-based player right now. Online news portal have all the news department that have got people writing news, editing news, going out, find news, to get people to subscribe to the online newspaper. And then inside there, now they do have the advertising department that sell the advertisement, write the advertisement, and promote this advertisement to the subscriber. So now the structure of media organization has changed in the online context. But they actually kind of adapt the old traditional model, but only thing they just change a little bit, and the structure becomes smaller than what it used to be. Of course, right now, podcast is becoming more and more popular on how you actually package all your content, right, into specific small podcasts, audio podcasts of 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Now, not many people are listening to radio anymore. People like podcasts because you get to select exactly what you want to listen. But that also makes it tough if you are the person who is packaging the podcast, because you're trying to attract specific people to come in and listen to your podcast. The media organization is getting more and more challenging in the industry because it's getting very competitive. So those are the things that we need to really think about. Okay, or at least I hope that in this class we have some food for thoughts on this. And at the end of the day, you need to focus on 4 things of what you call the marketing mix: the product, the promotion, the place, and the price, the 4 Ps. Right? Now, maybe next week I will talk a little bit more about the 4 Ps and also all these other things, because I think at this moment, again, I don't want to overload everybody. So I think we stay there. So to recap, remember management by objective, the boss strategy, all right? And we talk a little bit about the structure of some advertising, all right? Now, next week, I'm going to talk to you all more about media life cycle. Okay, it's within the slide, but I think we can discuss that further next week when we have more time. Okay, so that you'll be able to process whatever that happens today. Okay, all right, everybody. So it's 8 p.m. Any last word or any last questions from all of you before we dismiss? Okay, yes. Also, of course, now I can open up the floor. If you also have some questions with regards to your assignment, I do note that some of you have emailed me with your question. I think I've responded to everybody who emailed me with regards to your assignment. Okay. So Putri, yes, I think you were one of them who emailed me, right? What is it, Putri, that you would like to ask? Go ahead.
Hi, Dr. It's Nurul. So I just wanted to double confirm with you. Do we need results and findings too? Because I didn't see it on the what's that Microsoft Word that you gave us.
Sorry, again, repeat your question. So do we
need results and findings? Because I don't see the point in the...
Oh, of the findings?
Yeah.
No, the findings is supposed to be integrated into the other parts, right? Because if you were to look at your, hold on, yeah.
I mean brief, yeah. Thank you, Rafiza.
Yeah, it's not written within the brief. Wait, hold on, yeah. Let me... Well, A, B, yeah, where is it? Hold on. Okay, I get what you are asking, but you see, the thing is, you need to report the finding. That one is for sure. But I think what your question is that why is it not within the assignment? Because at the end of the day, the findings, okay, is answering the things that are within what I wanted. Remember? Like, for example, when I wanted to find out about the rules and the regulation or the moderation within the platform, that is part of your finding. Your business model is supposed to be part of what you get from the interview. The target audience is what you get from the interview. So those are the things that are already your finding. You don't have one specific thing called findings, but you are doing a research to find your answer to all of this area. You get what I mean, Putri?
Okay, noted. Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome. Hi, Doctor. Can you brief us on how to do participant observation method and how can we use the logbook if we want to use a participant observation method? Okay, Anastasia, that's a very, very good question. Now, for your assignment 1, remember I said that some of you can either interview the broadcaster or you can use participant observation method. Now, participant observation method is a qualitative method. And it is not rigid like a survey where you need to be very specific and so on. Now, participant observation is just you having a logbook. Remember I said a logbook? So you have a book and you have some main pointing questions that you would like to ask yourself. So say, for example, participant observation, you say, okay, today you downloaded this application, and then you start to register in this application. So what happens when you register? So you may write some notes in your logbook saying that I find that it was difficult to be able to access the application, or I find that it was difficult to register. And I'm also not very comfortable because they actually ask for my bank account details, say for example, right? And then what you do is you screenshot some of the things. You see, participant observation is just it's like writing a diary. You are jotting down your observation about this particular platform as you explore it. So in the beginning, your notebook may look very messy. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5. Now, at the end of the day, that logbook, let's say you observe it for 10 days. You click here, click there, click every features of the application you have actually found out. So what you will do is you look at your own notebook at the end of the day, and then you ask yourself, so what are some of the key points that you found from your logbook? You see, what are some of the key points that you found from your logbook that is worth or discussing, or something that you find that it occurs very frequently in your own logbook. So it's basically participant observation is very much what you call digital ethnography. Digital ethnography means it's a method where you just sit and observe what is happening within the platform. It's a very qualitative method that requires you to observe, but there is no fixed framework to it. Why? Because you are coming up with a framework. You are trying to tell people that, look, at the end of the day, from what I see on this platform, there is three main things. Number one, the subscription aspect. Number two, whatever, subscription aspect. Number two, the interactivity. Let's just say you came up with two factors. In future, when somebody else reads your work, they will take subscription and also, what did I mention the second point? Yeah, interactivity. Okay, subscription and interactivity as the point within their study. So you see how you are contributing to the knowledge. But participant observation is always done when there's not many research that's being done in the area. And you are trying to come up with the framework. I hope that clears your doubt, Anastasia.
Yes, doctor. It's a bit clear, but I want to ask: is there any specific time needed for the observation? So let's say, for example, we need to observe 1 hour per day, or
that one is really set by you. That's where in your methodology you will mention to me that observation can happen in a couple of ways. Like you said, you actually observe it on a daily basis at the same timing. Or you can tell me that, in my methodology, what I would do is I look at different timing. Monday, I look at 8 to 12 o'clock. Tuesday, I look at 12 to 4. Wednesday, I look at 4 to 8. The methodology of how you observe is actually designed by yourself in the way that you think is the best way to get a full picture of what the application is like.
Okay. So since there are two apps, so it's really depend to us, right? So there's no minimum or maybe maximum time needed?
No, there is not.
Okay.
There's not for participant observation. But of course, then I will ask you the question when you are presenting or you're doing your assignment. I will ask you, if you just observe for 10 minutes, then I will ask you back the question, is 10 minutes sufficient to observe what is happening on a platform?
Okay.
So if you're able to answer me and you have good justification on that, then okay. But if you don't, that means your research is not detailed enough in terms of the observation, and your observation could be biased.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Noted. Thank you, doctor.
All right. You're welcome, Anastasia. Putri, yes.
Yeah. Okay, doctor. I have just one little question. So let's say I want to choose complete observer. So my understanding is I observe all the app in general, just like what you said earlier, and then I join the room of the broadcaster. And do I need also to note down the expressions and what the viewers talking about in the chat room, how the broadcasters gesture and all that?
Exactly. That is part of your observation. So again, remember I mentioned to Anastasia, it's depend on how you design your observation. If you say, maybe Anastasia said, I don't want to observe the broadcaster. I don't want to observe what they talk about. I just want to observe how much gift they are getting. How much money do they make? So you will sit there and your criteria is about their earning. Anastasia designed her research in such a way. Whereas for you, Putri, in your observation, you are more interested to observe the communication process. You would like to observe the content itself. You want to observe the broadcaster expression and so on. That can be part of your research methods. That's how you design your research. You see, it's just like how if I were to ask you to observe me, now look at me, everybody, look at me, look at me. Okay, all of you will be looking at different things. Maybe some of you are looking at my background, my Zoom background. Some of you are more interested in my earphone. Some of you are more interested in my face. Some of you are wondering why my eye looks so swollen today, perhaps, So, you see, everybody observe different things. And as long as you can justify why you are observing what you are observing, then it is all right. Okay? I think a lot of you may have culture shock because you're very used to things like survey, which is very rigid. You must do validity, you must do reliability, you must have fixed question, you must be based. Participant observation opens up possibilities. And because we are looking into social media platform that only existed these days, obviously it is difficult for you to find a ready-made framework and apply in, which is why we are doing this to gain and to have more new knowledge into this kind of apps. Okay, so I hope that answers, Putri. Any other question? Zicha say, I also have question about assignment to select a media industry means we need to do research about many companies in the same industry or just one media related company. You have to select 2 companies within one same industry. Okay, 2 companies, one same industry. Because remember, in the assignment 2, you are supposed to interview 2 persons. So the 2 persons should come from 2 different companies, but both of them are within the same industry. So if you are looking at one advertising agency, the best is the other person is also from an advertising agency. Then only you can compare apple to apple. If you are looking at one broadcasting, then suddenly another one advertising, then it may be difficult for you to do a comparative analysis then. Thank you for the question, Zicha. Any other question? Any other question? One last serious question from me to all of you. Have everybody taken your dinner or not? No, see, that's why. Oh yeah. Ida, what time you eat lah? You eat so early or you've been eating halfway through my class? See, because I know you break your fast today. Oh, so okay, all right. So you're fasting today, okay. Nice, okay. Wow, so I think everybody is hungry by now, okay, for those who have not eaten your dinner, have not taken your dinner. So thank you very much, everybody, for the time of the class today. I hope all of you enjoyed the session. We shall be back next week, Thursday, to discuss more on the marketing mix and the following topics, okay? Then we will also follow up more on the assignment progress as well, yeah? So I'll see everybody around and take care and see you. Thank you, everybody. Yes, Gary. Why? Wait. Attendance. Wait. Okay, but I think attendance wise, it's okay because I do have the recording of your attendance, so it should be fine. I will take it manually, Gary, because so many people are still not able to access the system yet, right? So I have to take it manually for the day. Thank you. Thanks, Minye. Thanks. Thank you, everybody. Goodbye. Thanks, India. Good night. Bye.